Now the 5 designs that are slated to be certified or pre-certified by NRC are these. They're all good. We know how to do these. They're really great. Generation 3, 3+. They're redundant passive safety systems. Nobody's going to hurt with this. We know how to do this. So in the next 20 years, if you're going to build a nuclear power plant, it's going to be one of these. Don't even try a 6th or a 7th. And don't try to change these either. Don't even move the light switch in the restaurant over 5 feet. Just absolutely the same. That's the only way to do it. And keep working. I mean, keep working on generation 4 and fast reactors, fine. We've got plenty of time. We're in an energy crisis, not any other crisis. We're not in a waste crisis. We're not in a research crisis. We're in an energy crisis. So just build 200 of these while you're working on the next generation. But I'll get to that. Now, no one's going to build anything if they don't make any money. Truly. I mean, that's, T. Boone Pickens is classic, okay? If anything was going to make a lot of money off of wind and natural gas, you wouldn't have spent $58 million in advertising. So it's no surprise that J. Paul Getty was the first billionaire in history. He was getting a 100-to-1 return in 1930 on his gas, his oil. That was great. Same thing with coal. But over the next few decades, the easy stuff is gone. And now it costs more, it will go deeper, secondary recovery methods, and now it's down to about 15, which is still good. I'll take 15 to 1 on my investment, but you'll never get back up there. And if you go to the oil sands or the tar sands and oil shales and things like that, you're going to drop it even more because they take a lot more energy, a lot more investment to get those to be something that we can use. So now we're down around here. So right now the Canadians are getting about 3 to 1 on their tar sands. And when oil is under $50 a barrel, that's great. But now this drop, they're not making any money right now. And assume it's going to go back up as everyone does, as it will. Now wind has always been good, hydro has always been good. I'm being nice on ethanol there from corn. It's probably lesson 1, but if you get to the biodiesel, you get to the algae and the high efficiency cellulosic, you'll get that up and people will start making money and then we'll get biofuels. But they won't if it doesn't get above 3. Now the interesting thing about nuclear is that it's gone up over time. And that's because we've been just very good at running these. Okay? And if we go to the generation 3, it goes up even more, so it's about 15. So here we're making money. The utility companies love nuclear. They make a lot of money from nuclear energy. They're dying to build nuclear power plants. Okay? If you talk to Exelon and Excel, they're dying to build nuclear power plants because they make a lot of money. Just need to get over that 7 billion hump at the beginning. Now the reason they make a lot of money is because it's actually very cost effective to run it. The fuel is cheap. Nuclear fuel is the cheapest of all fuel. Coal's not a lot more expensive, but gas is very expensive. Of course, oil is very, very expensive. Now even if you amortize the construction over 60-year time span, the cost isn't much more, but you have to amortize it. Or you have to do loan guarantees or some other mechanism to get them built. But it's very cheap. Now, if you look at building units that are the same power production per year, okay, not the same capacity, but the same power output. So say you want to build the equivalent of a 1,300 megawatt nuclear power plant that gives you, because it's running all the time, capacity factor is 90%, produces 1,200 megawatt on average. To build, it's going to cost $7 billion. Right now, 2008 dollars is about $7 billion to build a Generation 3 power plant. Now, if you do use the same amount, you're building an array of wind turbines that produce the same amount of energy, it's going to cost about $8.5 billion. It's not cheaper, it's not easier. It's going to take a lot more area too. And solar, we don't really know it all because no one's ever built a big solar array, so we can scale up. Just scaling up from the small ones, take about 9 billion and take about 124 square miles. Just for comparison, Manhattan is 59 square miles. So if you're going to go to a third, and a third, here, and you're going to achieve this goal, what's it going to take in investment? It's going to take 1.7 trillion in nuclear. That's a lot of money, and everyone balks at that, and it's a huge amount of money. But again, it's going to take 2 trillion for renewables. It's not cheap, and it's going to take just to fuel the existing fossil fuel power plants will cost 4.6 trillion. So again, there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's nothing easy here. You have to invest. You want to invest in these because you're actually investing in infrastructure in the future, so it's a great return. Now the footprint is an issue. That's a lot. That's a lot of square miles. But we can do it. We have plenty of room. That's not a problem. We have plenty of room. But what's the, for comparison, what's the lead time to cover 20,000 square miles in anything? I mean, like the road system in the United States is about 150,000 square miles. How long does it take to resurface, just pave 20,000 square miles? It takes a lot of time. So to install 20,000 square miles of renewable farms, it has to happen in 20, 30 years. You can't take 200. So this is, again, nothing to do with the science, nothing to do with the technology. How do you do it? It's just a supply and demand and more of a mundane societal issue than anything else. Okay, once you've reached your third, say you do that investment and you're now at a third, what does it cost to fund to operate them? The operation and maintenance cost. Well, for nuclear, it's about $40 billion. Renewables, supposedly $22 billion, but we've never built those kind of arrays. We don't have that data, but we'll get it. Fossil fuel, $100 billion. It costs a lot to fuel fossil fuel power plants because you have to fuel them every single day. Okay? The number of, right now, China, the railroad system is not adequate to provide the coal to their coal-fired power plants. They're shipping so much coal that they just can't do it. So again, fuel is everything in fossil fuel, of course. So as much as it will cost to invest in renewables and nuclear to this degree, talking about $4 trillion by 2040, it will cost much more if we don't. Because we're just going to be fueling like crazy and building coal-fired power plants, which we know how to build very easily. Okay, I like to show this to the public and to students. You can shout this out. What's the most dangerous? Rate this in the most dangerous to least dangerous. Even 10-year-olds get what used to be the most dangerous because they're inundated with ads about anti-smoking. Right. So used to be smoking used to be the worst. Where are we? Used to be the worst. No more, but used to be the worst. If you just the latest Texas A&M poll around the country showed that, yeah, smoking and nuclear. But of course that's because of The Simpsons. So there's always green goo someplace in The Simpsons. But if you actually look at what kills people, this is it. Very, very different. Many of us in this room are over 50, so we have to worry about iatrogenic, which is, the glib definition is medicine gone wrong. Heath Ledger was an iatrogenic death, okay? Not malpractice, not abuse, just don't know why the patient died. Drug interactions, surgical problems, not malpractice. Okay, did everything right. So that's the leading cause of death in the US now. Smoking, of course, these are all big. Coal, that's a big number. Kind of no one thinks about that. Hey, it's the cost of doing business, right? So what? 30,000 people died. Nothing. No one dies in the nuclear industry. No one ever dies in the nuclear industry. And not weapons, not weapons. We're talking about nuclear energy. Now even safe sex will get you killed, so you think that gets a laugh from students. Even non-lethal routine offense. It's safer to work in a nuclear power plant than to sit at a desk trading stocks. That was better 2 months ago, but still. It is safe. It's incredibly safe. I mean, just at WIP, someone actually, it was just an industrial, nothing to do with waste. They were pulling some gantry or something, and they hit themselves on the head. It was a very nasty head wound. Place shut down for 2 days. We all had safety training for 2 days. I mean, this kind of culture, the safety culture, as you all know, is very, very strong, and that's why no one ever dies in a nuclear facility, because no one better die in a nuclear facility. I think it was 1997. Remember up here at Hanford, we banned X-Acto knives for a year, remember that? 17,000 X-Acto knives confiscated. Because somebody cut themselves. So, I mean, this is, no one cares about that in the oil industry. You just pay them more to work on a North Shore rig. Okay, so if you just look at the average output of a 1,000 megawatt coal-fired power plant, on average produces 4.8 billion kilowatt hours a year, uses 3.5 million tons of coal, produces 8 million tons of CO2, and 440,000 tons of hazardous waste. So this is the nasty stuff that no one ever talks about. It's a lot. Same size nuclear power plant produces much more energy because the capacity factor is much higher. It's working all the time. It only uses 29 tons of fuel, less than 1 ton of CO2, and that's driving around the parking lot and other stuff like that, nothing to do with the reactor. 10 tons of hazardous waste and 5 tons of nuclear waste. Now, that's just not much. Okay? And that's because, of course, 1 ounce of uranium is equal to about 75 tons of coal. So that's why in the 50s everyone thought we would be driving nuclear cars, because it's so energy dense.